Hey guys, it's Kris Jones for episode 70 of Ask Me Anything. I am sitting here with a young woman a young professional who I am a huge fan of and who I've gotten to know over the last year or so. As in my estimation, she has come on to the local scene, if you will, the local economic development, young leadership scene in a level of force that I may have never seen. I was thinking about it this morning, about how back in 2004, I stood up in this community. People thought I was absolutely crazy. I had talked about a business model around harnessing the best and brightest young people that I could find to build a business. That business was Pepper Jam, and many of you who are watching this video know how I leveraged that basic idea to, in many ways, disrupt this community, to set an example of what's possible in this community. And so with that as a backdrop, I think that Holly Pill Cabbage is that, I don't know if renegade's a positive or negative word, but you are a sort of jet setter, you're an iconoclast, you're the type of person that I really admire, because the thing I love most about you, among many things, is that you show instead of tell. You provide examples of what's possible. But we'll get there. I think what's most important is to hear a little bit more about your background. And I don't know if this has ever been asked of you, but I would love to start as far back as you're willing to go and to tell us a little bit more about yourself and just from a personal perspective, kind of your goings about over the years that has led you to who you are today.
Yeah, I've never been asked that before. It's funny because whenever somebody asks me a question like that, I always kind of stick with what is the first thing that came to my mind. And if I can be truly authentic for a moment and just real and start as far back as possible, I would say that one of the most pivotal moments of my life was actually my parents divorcing when I was 4.
Okay.
I know that's like really far back. But that kind of set up this road of just kind of figuring out who I was, being with my mom. I actually left my mom when I was 13 to live with my father, and then I kind of did that for a few years. And then I went off to undergrad as the first person in my family to actually go through school and achieve a degree. So I was first generation. It's funny because I made the decision to go to the University of Scranton because of my father, who wanted me to stay close. And now I feel like I'm completely rebellious in my 20s now, where I'm just going everywhere in the world because I'm like, I just want to see everything. So I went to the University of Scranton. I changed my major 5 times, still graduated on time in 4 years. You could see I was kind of testing a few different things out. And then it was through my kind of co-curricular activities that I fell in love with leadership. And I used to say student development, but now I just kind of encompass it all with saying human development. It's a pretty pivotal age and time frame of my life, going away to college and learning a lot about myself. So then through that, I fell in love with higher education. So I went to get my graduate degree, higher education administration. And I absolutely love everything about that. I always say that my dream job later on in life is going to be, I'll be a teacher. People are like, you could do that now. Yeah. And I was like, yes, but my favorite teachers were the ones that went and did all of these things in their lives and then were able to bring it back and kind of, show rather than just tell. So from there, I kind of hopped around a little bit, did the higher ed thing, then I had a 9-to-5 cubicle job, which is actually what I was doing right before I moved back home. You mentioned that, I just came back to the area about a year ago, and that was one of the slowest ways for my soul to die. And I made the best of it, like I always do, but I did make the decision ultimately to leave that and move back home, and I told myself that I kind of got into this mindset of I'm not going to settle, and I tell myself every day now in a very humbling way that I'm not mediocre. So, and it's kind of, I just came home and I said, what can I do? Here we are.
So couple things. So where did you grow up? What town?
Okay.
What high school? That kind of narrative.
Yes, with all the actual.
Yeah, and then where did you go that you came home from?
Yeah, so I grew up in Plains Township, so right here in Wilkes-Barre. And then, so then I went to Coughlin High School, so public school. And then I was, like I said, in Scranton for the University of Scranton, and then Akron, Ohio for the University of Akron. And then I actually...
What is that? Akron Zips? No, who?
It is, yes.
Is it the Zips?
It is the Zips, yes, you got it. LeBron James is like the biggest deal, of course, to everyone there, so I always kind of throw that out there. But and then I did move home for a little less than a year, back to Scranton, and I worked up there at a college. And then I had what I call my quarter-life crisis. And so I let the school know 3 months ahead of time that I was going to be leaving on a cross-country road trip, but I wasn't coming back, so I needed to quit. And so I got in my car on June 17th, and I went across the country, and I was supposed to stay for about 2 weeks. And I came back about 3.5 months later, so I just kind of did my thing. I lived out in Manhattan Beach for a while, and did some traveling while I was there, too. I had some conferences to go to.
Manhattan Beach is in California, right?
Yes. Yeah, so beautiful, beautiful place. I was very fortunate, family, friends, a mile from the beach. So I did that, and then it was actually a little bit of an unfortunate turn of events. My best friend of about 14 years now she came down with, found out that she had stage 4 lymphoma. So it was very important for me to come back home. It was that in conjunction with my sister becoming pregnant with her first boy. Yeah. So I was like, you know what, my family needs me. So that kind of drew me back home. But not home. I actually went to New Jersey next, and that's where I lived that 9-to-5 cubicle life for a year, and then I came back here. So those were the places I lived. Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you come back here, and by the way, thanks for sharing all that.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit of an oversharer. So
no. I think it's important, and for those folks that are getting to know you, I think it's nice to personalize it.
Yeah.
So you move back here, and kind of then what? And if you don't mind, I mean, I love the personal reflections, but where I really love to go with this, because then I'd like to peel back the onion a bit, is, you've really kind of like just put yourself in positions to self-actualize, really, and to put yourself in a position to inspire people, to I don't know, just to enact change. I mean, particularly around the economic development community, having a young person with as much positive energy that you have to come in your 20s and literally become a force. So what are some of the decisions that you made? I know you had originally were at the Chamber, then you got involved in Cole Creative, or vice versa.
Yes.
So tell us that, just so we could...
So I moved back home on October 8th, and my first day at Cole Creative was October 9th, painting the office. It was actually a conversation.
When was this? What year?
Last year.
Okay.
I just had my 1 year.
Holy cow.
Yes. So
Emily, I mean, jeez. Go ahead.
So I moved back. I was in conversation with Gerard Durling, and I told him I was coming back, and he said, well, we're at a place where I would like to, because at the time it was him and Matthew Simon Cabbage working on different things for different clients that they had at the time. And pretty much the conversation was had that he was at a place where me learning about the company, we were like, this could be something a little bit more. So I was brought in, and it was funny because admittedly I was brought in not really knowing what I would be doing for the company. It was after a few weeks when we really laid out what could Holly be doing and where do my strengths play and what other people do we need to bring in, that it kind of was determined that the Director of Business Development title kind of encompassed a lot of what I would be doing moving forward. There it is.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so it was really...
By the way, I totally apologize.
Please do.
I got my new iPhone 10, and I don't know how to turn this darn phone off, and I meant to turn it off before this live video, and I should have warned you in my intro that it could go off. It might go off again. Coming back to you, we're not going to edit that out, obviously, so go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So a big part of it, I do appreciate everything that you're saying. I came in and I was this force and whatever, but for me, I just can't take all of the credit because, I mean, it's the relationships that I've built and the people that I've interacted with, and Gerard is a big force behind even me getting thrown back into the community, introducing me to the right people, the networking. Of course, with various clients that we have, one of them being the Chamber, that was another way. I just got super involved with them right away as a member of the Young Professionals Network, Women's Network, things like that, just seeing what else could I be doing. Funny enough, even a year ago, and I don't even know if I should admit this, I didn't really know what a chamber did. Yeah. So I've just been learning all about what economic development means and what that entails, and really what can I do to help kind of push things forward. I think that I was very fortunate to come back to the area at a time where it's changing. And I'm not, I didn't come back a year ago and then it started changing. I came back, and maybe it's because for the first time in my adult life, I'm being a part of these conversations and hearing what people have going on and seeing what's being executed, and then being given the opportunity to be a part of that. There's just something really motivating about that. For me personally, no matter what I'm doing, no matter where I've been in my life, it's kind of a quote that I steal, but I want, it's my biggest dream, goal, desire to leave people, places, and things better than I found them. I feel like anytime I come into somewhere, I know a lot of people are entrepreneurs, I'm an intrapreneur. I just feel like I can go in, I can kind of scope out, get the lay of the land, and then I say, okay, let's try this, and this, and then we build on it.
Let me ask you, because I totally relate to that, and if you had asked me the question I'm about to ask you, I would probably be able to identify, would attempt to identify why. So why embrace those things? Why is Holly Pilcavage, why is that such a huge part of what I perceive in you from the outside looking in? So why? What inspires you about standing for those things or demonstrating to other people that they have, I don't want to speak for myself here, but the thing I love about your message is that we all have the ability. It's just that you've unlocked it and you're celebrating it. So what inspires you? What's your why as it relates to who you are?
Well, you're kind of saying it right there. I can tell you 5 years ago, not that I think I was always motivated and trying to succeed, whatever definition that would be at the time, getting straight A's in grad school or something like that.
Before you dropped out.
Before I dropped out. No. My why, so what I realized was that I could wake up every day, every single day of my life, and just live that day and feel like it, not that it meant nothing, but that, it was just another day. And then for a few personal things that I won't go in depth with during this, the realization of, and this might be dramatic or flighty for some people, that today might be that last day. I know that gets a little wonky for people, but I have this mindset that if today is the last day that I can do anything good or put something out in front of me or into the world, like I have to do it. I just have to. My why at the core is people. I think that my own personal reasoning for being in the universe or whatever it might be is I'm supposed to help other people figure out how to become the best versions of themselves. That's just really what I do. I'm a certified life coach, but I'm not one of those people. I don't go out and say, hire me as a life coach. I just use those things in my everyday, with Cole Creative, with the chamber, with my personal relationships, whatever it might be. I just feel like I feel fortunate because I think I've unlocked what I'm supposed to be doing, and I know that it's really hard for people, and I question it every other day, and it's like, why do I do this? And I get that question a lot, but there's a lot of power behind choosing your attitude every single morning. There's a lot of, substantial just motivation behind, just feeling like you know what you're doing. So I just continuously, want to urge people to, when you feel stuck and when you're living, whether it's you're actually or figuratively or literally living that 9-to-5 cubicle life, if it's something that's draining your soul, just remove yourself from it, because you're the one, you have to wake up with yourself every day. You have to wake up with yourself in 5 years. Most of the people around you, unless they're your significant others and loved ones, they're not going to be there. And we make so many decisions based on these people that are just feeding their thoughts and their ideas, when it's really just reflections of what they're going through, and it has nothing to do with you. And we're basing major life decisions on that every day. So, sorry, I'll keep talking. So
No. So the amazing thing that Holly is reflecting on and sharing so authentically is a personal power that is within all of us to take hold of our destiny, whatever that might be, and to shape it over time. And as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking of my own life and how difficult it was. It still is, but particularly early on in my career, to get the reinforcements that my body, my mind needed to affirm that the energy that you exploit, and I mean that word, that is really unleashing your God-given talents and your abilities, and it's on stage right now, it's beautiful, is hard. And, and I'm listening to you and I'm thinking to myself, fortunately for me, and I know this is happening to you now, I think this interview, it was unsolicited. It was my idea to invite you in here. I mean, hopefully you'll get these affirmations and you'll know what you're doing is so beautiful and so brilliant because it's setting the stage for others to follow your lead. So it's just awesome. I think we've, on the personal side and you sharing your why, I think people are going to rewind that, probably get a little emotional, and I think that's good because I think the change comes through when you can motivate your body to viscerally respond. It's not up here, guys. It's not up here. She got to where she's reflecting right now, not up here, right here. In her heart and in her body, she realized at the end of the day what she's doing, and she's going to be challenged over the next decades of her life to be consistent. But she knows, I know, you know, that it's just right. We don't need to be a judge. It's just right. We all have this ability to unlock our God-given potential. And she just said that that's one of her primary, if not her primary motivation behind what she does. And it's the same with me as well. So let's transition back toward the end here, the end of the interview, because I want you to share with us what Wilkes-Barre Connect is, what the Think Center is all about, and if you could disclose it, what your vision for that organization is over the next year or two.
So Wilkes-Barre Connect at the core, it's ran by the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber of Business and Industry. We have a handful of different partners throughout the community, like the Ben Franklin Institute, Small Business Development Center, Alan P. Kirby Center, et cetera, et cetera. Don't mean to leave anybody out, but it's kind of a long list. So essentially, at the core, the one-liner is it's catalyst for business and economic development in the area. It is, I like to call it almost a safety net of sorts because these things have already existed. All of these organizations, they're not new. They didn't come up because Connect was created. It was a way to kind of pinpoint all of these different resources and people and whatever might be out there and kind of streamline them together through a process. So as an entrepreneur, you can come through Connect and say that whether you're at the beginning stages, it's a concept, so you haven't even laid out a business plan, you aren't an official LLC, you can come to us and you'll get a phone call from me personally and I'll be like, tell me all about it, and we'll be really excited about it and we'll talk, and then we'll kind of put this plan of action together, and 90% of the time these people will go to the Small Business Development Center first. But besides that, we have different companies come to us, and I don't know what I can or cannot disclose in the moment. So there are larger companies that come to us and say, we need to know that we can secure 150 positions, engineers or whatever it might be. How can we come up with a plan to make sure that happens within the next 3 to 5 years, whatever it might be? So we strategize a lot too, and have those more one-on-one sit-downs as well. So there's a lot of different kind of elements and moving pieces. And for me, I'm in the position a little over 3 months now. So I've just been, of course, gaining an understanding of what it is. I came into the role that no one was technically in before, so it is new. So kind of navigating that, laying down this foundation. There was a lot of incredible people involved prior to me coming in that really laid out all of these pieces, and they really needed someone to execute on them and then build upon them. So that's where we're kind of at right now. I would say at the core, Wilkes-Barre Connect, it's an intake process. It's a process that you go through and that we follow up with, and we help you hopefully get that storefront or virtually or whatever it might be in the long run, and continue to help you just establish and grow yourself within northeastern Pennsylvania. Through that and the various conversations, there's also these 5 kind of focus areas, which you're familiar with Spotlight, since you so graciously were involved with that recently. But so we have Spotlight, which is essentially our networking events where 4 times a year we bring in an entrepreneur in the area to speak, kind of like our version of TED Talks. And then we video Spotlight another entrepreneur that's a little bit more in the beginning stages, a student because we have so many incredible local institutions, and then a nonprofit or organization in the area that kind of ties into whatever the theme might be as well. We have 101 that's going to be launching, so that's a video series, a lot of just the basic fundamentals of running a small business. So people, maybe they're not ready to really connect with us directly, but they can start kind of getting a feel for what's the lifestyle like and what kind of financing options might I have, and start formulating their own questions. We have pitches, which is like our version of Shark Tank. We just kind of, I guess we're just stealing all the things that already exist and, making them our own. But we recently had our first event with that as well, which I think went really well. I came right at the end of it because my sister had a baby that day. So I was able to catch up with everyone that presented. But essentially, someone comes in with an idea, they submit their venture capital profile, thank you, and then they go through this process and they're able to get in front of local and regional angel investors and hopefully get some deals or at least clients out of it. We also have Honor, which is specifically to help veterans and veteran spouses, which I love because I think that that's super important. Pretty much the same intake process, but we have specific programs that we will be rolling out in 2018 for them as well. And then I am missing one, and I always do this, 101, Spotlight, Honor, Pitch, and Intern, my favorite one. So Intern is essentially going to be a regional portal pretty much for the Scranton, Hazleton, Wilkes-Barre, surrounding areas, things like that. So, of course, there's things like internships.com, monster.com. But students can go on here and find local opportunities with not only these larger businesses or medium-sized businesses that know how to do this, it'll also be small businesses, entrepreneurs, things like that, real experiences right here in the area. For me, Intern is, I think, more of a learning moment for the smaller businesses and entrepreneurs and one-man shops that are going to end up coming in because we're going to be able to educate them on, yes, you can have an intern, that's what that means. So that's kind of, I think, the lay of the land of what Connect is and kind of where we're at. And right now, we're updating a lot of things with the website and the portals, so that's all going to be coming out very, very soon.
How do they get more information about that? What's the website? What's the contact?
Yes, it's wilkesbarreconnect.org. And then I don't know the phone number off the top of my head, but
But so ultimately, if they call if they go to the site, they could find the contact, and it's going to come to you.
Yes. So whether they called, the number on there, or they just looked up the Greater Wilkes-Barre Chamber, they can call there, and their call will get directed to me as well. So So I mean, as for my personal vision, it's funny because it was actually my second day on the job.
This seems to fit into a lot of your themes because you are providing a platform for a lot of people to accelerate, to just help them through where a lot of people would give up. You're providing the platform to mitigate them giving up.
Right. And I think if I can say anything about myself, I usually don't like to do stuff like this. I think that whether it's me or someone like me, you need kind of our energy and the excitement. Like, I love Northeastern Pennsylvania. I love Wilkes-Barre. Like, I can't say it enough, and people are always like, what? And they question me. But I think that whether it was me or somebody else, like, we need to believe in what we know this place can be. Because I think people, if you wake up with a bad attitude every single day, you can't expect them to wake up one day and then it just be changed. That's years and years and years of, thinking one way. It's going to take quite a bit of time to, get to the other side. So same thing with economic development and just business development in this area. And I know that, you're well-versed in kind of what's up and coming and what's going on behind the scenes as well. There are things that I can't wait to get out in the streets and scream about them. You know what I mean? So I just want to help people see, like, just hang on a little bit longer. There are things, and whenever there is something new and exciting, I just want to, like, put it out into the world and let people see that it's happening. So
it seems like it's a great platform for the people who will benefit, and it's a great platform for you to just spew, in a positive sense, all of your positivity and all of your action-oriented type of thinking. So it's totally awesome. So, all right, final thing.
Okay.
What are your hobbies? What do you like to do, when you're not focused on Wilkes-Barre Connect or Cole Creative or whatever else?
It's funny. My response is always like, I just drink red wine. But no.
What kind of red wine?
Just like a cab, whatever. Apothic is my go-to because it's easy. It's at every store that you can go to. Anyway, so my legitimate hobbies is I'm actually a writer at the core. I have this little project on the side that just passion project, no money, nothing like that related. I have about 40 writers involved, and I don't know, there's something about storytelling. And it's funny because I know before this I was like, tell me what we're going to talk about, because I'm a planner, and with writing, you can kind of take the time to formulate how you want to expose yourself or put yourself out there. So I would say definitely writing, and then fortunately, again, living in NEPA in Wilkes-Barre, I'm a big nature geek, so I love going out, legitimately unplugging. I don't mean like, I don't even have photos sometimes, I don't have my phone near me, and just getting out there and just doing those overnight kayaking trips or hiking, whatever it might be. But and then lastly, which it's super simple, and maybe because I could do it easily, is I just drive. Just drive, reflect. Simple. And it just, I don't know, resets me sometimes. So awesome. Yeah.
Well, you're a rock star.
Okay. You too.
Keep doing what you're doing. Guys, this is Holly Pilcavage. I am feeling really good that you just had an opportunity to get to know her better and to see what's possible here in Northeastern Pennsylvania when you believe in yourself, you begin the process of unlocking your human potential, and you put yourself in positions to lead. I will see you guys in my next episode. Peace.